Try that again. Good evening, everybody. My name is Osa. This is Coldstream Farm on Farm Sim 19. And I've been chatting for about 3 minutes with the microphone turned off. So we'll try and remedy that for now. So the plan here is to sow this field with canola, and this will be our first self-planted crop on a field that has been ploughed and lined and should return us create a good return. I've heard that Follow Me is not working on this map, and that it tends to run a scripting error. Also, since I only have one tractor and one harvester, that's not really an issue right now. Apparently helpers also have problems. Not so much with the harvesting. The harvesting, it stays within the field. But for things like seeding and fertilizing and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to notice the field boundaries and keeps going. And that's kind of not a good deal. Now, reports are that Black Sheep have a patch incoming. I'm not sure how long it's going to take Giants to test it and release it though. Missed a strip on the right there, so we'll go back and get that, because these fields are sufficiently small enough that missing bits can be quite significant. Obviously a width like that on a 10-acre field is negligible. A width like that on a half-acre field, a little bit more of a problem. trouble. Now, I also noticed, I watched, what was it? Yesterday I watched Mr. Sealy P's, or Friday, I watched Mr. Sealy P's Oldstream Farm intro. And today I was watching Farmer Klein, and he actually took a look at the contracts page, and it seems there are contracts on some of these fields. Not that I really have enough time to do anything about that. And if I want to do corn, I'm going to need a planter. We don't have one. Oh, so much stuff we need money for. That just plunked us into the telephone pole, electric pole. Not actually sure. I like how wide the roads are this time out. And on the Farm Sim 17 map, there was no way that car would have got behind me. He'd have stopped on the road and started honking his horn because the edge of the field was too close to the road and the road was too narrow. But for this version, we seem to have a little bit more room to swing around and not getting in anything's way. I think I missed another bit going along that one. Oh. So when I'm out of jobs, I might just follow the traffic around and see where it actually goes. I'm assuming it takes the same route as it did in 17. Yeah. As I said on another playthrough, this thing has row markers, but I'm not sure they're particularly good. Let's have a go with them. It may have been the texture on the other map. So yeah, the issue I had was the row marker sticks out such a short distance. If you try and do this from inside the cab, let's reverse back to there, get in the cab, I'm lining that up, lower the seeder and go. We actually get out. The seeder is overlapping quite a significant amount, plus if I look in the front, so long as I keep the left hand wheel close to where the crop's sowed, we'd do fine anyway. Don't know if I missed anything that way. I mean, obviously when you've got a 9 metre or wider, even 6 metre, the road marker is so much further out. Oh, I'm way off that. That, yes, it does help with guiding your tractor, but this one's way too close in. I don't think it's particularly well placed. As you look at it, it was literally off the left-hand edge of the sown area as I drove down. And this is a 3 metre wide cedar, so it should be 1.5 metres off that edge. Trees. I'm going to try and cut this straight across as best I can. And we'll reverse back down that strip at the edge. Fill that bit in. A little bit more. Go. Hopefully, that should now give me a straight edge to work against. That's a much straighter line by the looks of it. I'm not sure going back was as straight. Oh, wow, that tree! I remember that tree from last map version. Actually, we're going to have to cut the end off where the cow pasture is. So it's going to be in the way. Other issue we have, we've got no what was it, weeder, and what else don't we have? I think we're okay for everything else. We don't have a weeder, that's a bit of a concern. We don't have a sprayer, but I'm not too worried about that. If we catch the weeds early enough, that will never be an issue. Still don't know what other tractor to get when I get to that point. Oh, that's right, I need a planter. We won't be doing any root crops, at least not for now, because the barn doesn't, or the silo doesn't accept root crops on storage. We will probably branch out into field work, grass work, but once again we're going to need mowers and stuff for that. I can, in actual fact, I can probably get away with, if I get a collection wagon, I'm going to have to be careful because of the horsepower limits on this tractor, but I could get a single mower for the front, and that should be sufficient. We'll go forwards. I think once we've done this, I'll have to check on the field statuses. So like I said, we have 2 fields that are very close to needing harvest, but I don't, the timing is I don't have to do them right now. I can wait a little bit. But if I do, if they're in their final stage, I really need to get to them as quickly as I can. That wasn't particularly a good cross, was it? Let's go back and try that again. There we go. Okay. Let's back up to here. Oops. Excuse me, sorry. Try not to knock the street sign over. There we go. Probably couldn't get far with larger equipment on these fields anyway, because they're not exactly flat. Something this sort of size reacts much better to small undulations and divots in the field than something bigger does. One pass left to do. Might be 2. Just knock the hedge over again. Nobody coming. Quite tell. I think there is a strip to the left of me that isn't getting planted. Okay. Done. Lift. And we'll do this strip, and that's one field. It is completely done. I'm going to turn the lights on there. Looks like there's a strip to my left there. That wasn't done either. The rest of it looks okay. So run that up to the end. Lift it up. And we'll go back to just before the shadow of the trees. See if we can get that bit done too. Oops, now I can't see it. There. A little bit more left. And lift. We can turn it off now. Oh, mind the light up. Street sign. So the other field I needed to do is this one down here. I don't think I ploughed it. Yeah, it just got lime on. So we're going to need to plough this field. That's fine. Where should we put the seeder? Where did we put the plough? I think the ploughs are here on the left. Yeah. Okay, well, the fields is accessed from over here, so we don't have to go out in the street. Now, this is one of the local fields you didn't own at the start, but tended to be a good one to look at purchasing early on. Okay. Okay. Now there was one tractor that I thought I could definitely afford. Was small enough to fit on the farm quite nicely. Not sure I actually need a second tractor right this minute. The thought was small tractors. No. Where is it? Oh, this one here. £17,000 for euros for Ooh. Comes in red and orange. Warrior 2. Black. Cool. Lots of different colours. Standard, Deutz Alt. Alt 1, Alt 2. Deutz New. Forced. Black Thunder. So anyway, this is an option. Engine size goes up to 143, which is I think 5 more than we have on the Massey. You can attach a front loader. You can put weights on the front or a 3-point. So that's kind of an option. The other thing I could do, of course, is also in mods. That's way too little horsepower, I think. Standard and narrow tyres, though. So that has the potential to be a sort of a fertilising tractor. I must admit, I haven't used that little old Hurleman for anything. Kind of wish we had the T4 Ti, I think, or X4 Ti, I think it was called, XM4 Ti, which was a 145 horsepower Hurleman. Right at the end of the life of Farm Sim 17, I did 2 starts on Sundays as Sunday specials. The first one was what to do when starting a new farm, just as is, and the second one was what to do when starting a new farm with seasons. And with seasons, you kind of want to sell as much of your starting equipment as you can get away with, and replace it with a tractor that's fairly versatile. So something like this one. My personal opinion is I'm a little light on horsepower here. I do have all the tyre options, and I do have a front loader. And I have a front 3-point and a rear 3-point, and a PTO on the front as well. So I could run a loading wagon and mower combination if I wanted to on this tractor, assuming it's got the power to do it. That's the problem. But right on that last Sunday before Farm Sim 19 came out, I discovered the Hurleman's actually or the larger of the 2 Hurlemans, it's actually a good tractor for a sort of limited start where you don't have the money to keep all the equipment you need or would like, so you've got to compromise. You need a compromised tractor. Yeah, the Fendt Favorite is a good compromise tractor. You can put 150 horsepower in it. As I said, I've used that. I used that on our Ravenport multiplayer. I actually had 2 of them. Oops. And I've used it on other farms as startup tractor, purely because it's so cheap. It's less than $100,000. For 150 horsepower tractor, and you can have a front loader. It's got the front 3-point with PTO, and I think it's quite quick as well, considering the age of it. And it is a starting piece of equipment for this farm, but as I said, I decided since I've used the 2 tractors in the starting lineup, I wanted to go for something a little bit different. And this one I haven't used yet in Farm Sim 19, which is why I went with it. So I think I'm going to make this field soybeans when I get round to planting it. I should run down to the canola field and fertilise that before we get too much further along. If I get the fertilisation out of the way as early as possible, then that leaves me time to do other things while the crop's in the process of growing. And I don't end up being conflicted, oh, I've got weeds and I need to fertilise this thing. I can just say it's fully fertilised already, I just need to deal with the weeds as and when they arrive. I think the longer term plans for this farm, we will get a grass field, probably the one just to the south of us, G6 I think it is, just south of the river, because that piece of land only includes the grass field, it doesn't include anything else, and it's cheap. The problem with the field to the east of us, grass 3, grass 4, and the one to the north, which I think is grass 2, is they are incredibly expensive. They're good sized grass fields there. We'll have to weigh it up, because we'll have to buy the field and the mowing equipment as well. Oops. No, push it through the dirt, drag it through the dirt. And try not to hit the tree as well. Just run across the front here. Oh, I want to check out that building as well. Yep, no collision on it still. So the stuff I remember that didn't have collisions still doesn't have collisions. Great big electric pylons don't have collisions, and that little tower on the side of the road doesn't have a collision. But all of the telephone poles, they have collisions. That's dark orange, okay. So these still haven't ripened sufficiently to panic about.